In this video, we're going to continue building out our carrier delays table by adding total delay and average delay columns to the work we've already performed. Let's begin by entering our column heading. So I'm going to click up in cell E1, and this is going to be our total delay min column. And then I'm going to tab to column F, and this will be our average delay min column, and then I'm going to highlight both of those columns and double click to auto fit the width of the selections. To populate the total delay min column, we are going to use the SUMIF function to sum the values in the actual delay column for each one of the unique carrier codes that you see in column A of the carrier delays table. Let's type an equal sign in cell E2 and start typing sum, and we're going to select SUMIF because we only have one criteria here. The first argument for this function is the range. The range that we want to use to specify the criteria is the unique carrier range on the flight data worksheet, where we'll type unique carrier and then tab it into the formula, and then type a comma to advance to the criteria argument, which will be the codes in column A. So I'm going to select cell A2 for my criteria, and then hit comma again to advance to the third argument for this function, which is something that we haven't seen before. Since we are telling it to sum values, we have to specify the column that contains the values that we want summed. And for us, this is our actual delay column. Start typing actual, and then tab the actual delay range name into our formula, type our closing parenthesis, hit enter, and now we can see the volume of overall delay expressed in minutes. At this point, I want to apply some formatting to the three columns that we've populated with numeric values thus far. I am going to highlight the data in column C through E of our data table, and I'm going to right-click, go down to the option to format cells, which will bring up the format cells dialog box, and I'm going to format them to number, 0 decimal places, and check the box to use the thousand separator. Click on OK. So that applies some formatting for us. Now let's create the formula for average delay. While there is an average if function that we could use here, we're going to go with a simpler approach, which is simply to divide the total delay minutes column by the number of delayed flights column. So we will type equal select total delay min divided by the number of delayed flights. And now we've got some values. You also see that we've got some errors, and we're going to address those here in a minute. First, let's do some number formatting. I don't need to see the decimal places, so I'm going to highlight this whole column, right-click, go to Format Cells, and again format it to number, but this time I'm going to say decimal places 0. And these values are small enough that it doesn't matter if we use a thousand separator or not, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm just gonna click on OK, close out of that, and so now we get the average delays expressed in minutes. Now, why are we seeing these errors for Hawaiian Airlines and Southwest Airlines, and what can we do about them? Well, this particular error is the divide by 0 error. You may remember from elementary math class that you can't divide other numbers by 0. Practically speaking, as it relates to this data set, the reason that we're getting this is if you look at those airline codes, neither Hawaiian Airlines or Southwest Airlines flew out of Chicago O'Hare. So there are no flights in the data set for those two airlines. So what can we do to make this go away? Well, Excel has a wide variety of error handling functions in it, and one of those is the if error function. And since we are receiving an error here, what we're going to do, I'm going to click back in cell F2, and I'm going to edit the formula there to wrap the work that we've already done inside of an if error function. So we'll click there, And I'm going to start typing if error, and then select if error from the drop-down list, tab it into the function. The first argument is value. What value do you want displayed assuming there is no error? And for us, it's the result of our division that we've already done. So the first part of the argument here is the total delay divided by the number of delayed flights. So we can move down to the end of the formula, type a comma to advance to the second argument. And the second argument is value if error. This is where you specify what you want to be displayed if the function encounters an error. And so what we're going to do is display a text label that says no scheduled flight. So I'm going to type an opening quote and then just type no scheduled flights. Click back over to no and capitalize the N. And then move to the end, type my closing quote, type my closing parenthesis, and hit enter. And now you can see the results of adding the if error function. Every place where we got a value from our division, that value is populated. And for Hawaiian Airlines and Southwest Airlines, where no flights were scheduled, we now have a text label that allows us to see that. And that's where we're going to wrap up for this video. We've got one more column that we're going to add to this table to allow us to identify the maximum delay for each one of these carriers. And that's where we'll pick up in the next video.